felt it was important to come out and talk about Joe Burrow and the fact that the Bengals are becoming a team that you need to watch out for. The Bengals are becoming a team you need to keep your eyes on because they're putting some special stuff together now to kind of a general free agency and future recap. Let's go through it. So far in free agency, they've signed Riley Reiff. They've signed a lot of other players. Guys like Chitobi Awuzu. I hope I'm saying that right. They signed Tony Brown. They signed Mike Thomas. I think they're just bringing in a lot of players that are going to make a huge difference for their team. Even guys like Mike Hilton, who they brought back. But really, I talked about a lot of players for the Bengals that I was really, I talked about one of these specific players that I felt was a very underrated player in terms of free agency, and he was going to be the most underrated free agent in the entire market. And that's Trey Hendrickson. So if you look at what the Bengals are doing from top to bottom, the first biggest concern I had, and I think anybody had, was offensive line. What are they going to do when they have to protect Joe Burrow, who, by the way, had an outstanding rookie year, and if the Bengals could get him any sort of protection, he's going to take off. So what happens when the Bengals get protection for Joe Burrow, they get some pieces on their defense, and they get things rolling on offense, and that defense comes together? Watch out. That's what happens. First of all, Joe Burrow completed about 65% of his passes for over 2,600 yards. 26 over 2,680 if you want to be all technical, but completed 264 passes of 404 attempts, threw for 13 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. I think he had a fantastic rookie year given his circumstances and the fact he was kind of running for his life on a lot of situations, and the fact that he didn't have Joe Mixon for an entire year. And also Giovanni Bernard still's got a little bit showing. So both those running backs have been doing a fantastic job for the Bengals. And I've really liked what they've done. I mean, you got guys like Tyler Boyd coming back to T. Higgins. Bernard was also fourth on the team in receptions with 47. Drew Sample, the emergence of Drew Sample has come out, had 40 catches last year for the Bengals. And there's a lot to be excited about when it comes to the Bengals. There's just a lot that there's surrounding them right now. The biggest one to me is with the signing of Riley Reiff. Now, as a Vikings fan, I can tell you that I was kind of hoping the Vikings would re-sign Riley Reiff because he's coming off his best year in the NFL. He's coming off his best year in which he only allowed, I believe, it was 20-some-odd pressures, 1 sack, and it just wasn't ideal for them to let him walk. He had, I think he's got at least 1 or 2 more years of solid football left in him, and the way he played this year deserves a lot of respect. So I was fully expecting the Vikings, even though they did release him, I was hoping they were going to renegotiate or just kind of come to an agreement on a deal and just see where that took him. But at the end of the day, he signed a 1-year deal with $5.5 million in guarantees, a $7.5 million average salary. As far as some of the other details have not been fully disclosed to my knowledge at this point, but there's a lot of things surrounding this. I think it's a good signing. It's a good signing for a couple reasons. Number one, at the very least, at the very worst, if the Bengals don't bring in any offensive line help, they've got a good, solid left tackle. Even though Jonah Williams did some stuff last year, Reiff has experience on the right side of the well. He played right tackle for the, I believe it was for the Lions back in the day. And at the very least, if they still draft Penei Sewell at number 5, which I think they should, they're going to start to put together an offensive line that's pretty respectable now. I'll give you an example. So Penei Sewell, I think, could play anything on the offensive line other than maybe center because, I don't know. He probably could, but he hasn't had a lot of experience with that. I think it'd be kind of a steep learning curve. However, you could basically put Penei Sewell in any spot on that offensive line, and I think he would do fantastic. I mean, he's one of the most athletic specimens in terms of offensive linemen in the last decade. If you watch his tape, he buries people. And he's clearly the best offensive tackle in the draft and possibly in the last 10 years. So I think he could play guard. But on the flip side of that, I also think Riley Reiff could play guard. So I think it all really just depends on what the Bengals want to do with Jonah Williams. I think that they should definitely see what they can do, maybe in terms of position flexibility. If he can stay healthy, man, oh man, oh man, you're talking about Riley Reiff, Jonah Williams, Penei Sewell. Oh man. That's three really good starters for your offensive line, and kind of depending on what they want to do with some of their other guys. I mean, they got three guys figured out right there. So Joe Burrow very soon with everything that's being put together. Even Trey Hendrickson, I raved about Trey Hendrickson before the free agency even started. I think he's one of the most underrated free agents in the entire market. Guy had over 13 sacks, around 13 sacks last year. So at the end of the day, this is going to be a scary team moving forward, and I believe the the Bengals rather are coming together, and they're going to do a lot of damage with some of the recent signings they've done. But let me know what you guys think down below. Make sure you guys leave a like and comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about the whole how far the Bengals have come and some of their most recent signings. Make sure once again leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that you guys have given us, and we just ask that you have a great rest of your night and also a great weekend.